Hi, hello guys, this is Vijay, chemistry lecturer from Alibaug Junior College. Okay, as you know that we are doing the NEET series. Based on that, chemistry and biology, we are discussing each and every chapter in detail, and also we are practicing few numericals. Okay, so on that basis today we are going to discuss about few practice problems, NEET chemistry, some basic concept, unit number 1, examples. So few questions we are going to practice it now. So let us see one by one. Look at this question guys. See, classify the following as a pure substances or mixtures which should be based on the pure substance or mixtures, and we are going to give reasons. So here are few examples given: graphite, milk, air and diamond. Okay, what do you mean by pure substance? First of all, we know the term, the meaning of pure substance. Yes, so pure substance are nothing but these are the substance which are made up of only one kind of atom. Likewise, mixtures are the substance or the components which are made up of various kind of atoms, okay, which contain various constituents in variable amount. So based on that, the mixtures could be present. Yes, so based on that, in the given question, let us see what are the pure substances are there. Likewise, what are the mixtures are there. Yes. So what are the pure substances are there? Graphite and diamond, these are said to be the pure substances because they are made up of only one kind of atom. They are not, these atoms are only one kind, that is nothing but carbon. So these both components are made up of carbon, only one kind of atom. So it is nothing but pure substances, graphite and diamond. So these both are the examples for pure substances in the given question. And mixtures which contain various type of atoms with variable amount. Say for example, here few examples given like milk and air. So air is nothing but it is a gaseous substance which contain more than one type of atoms. Many gases might be in the air. Yes, like nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, many are there. Likewise, milk, it is also not made up of only one particular substance. Yes, so which contain many different macrobiomolecules. Okay, so these two are the examples for mixtures, milk and air. Yes, now let us go for the next question. Yes, look at this next question. Identify the following as a homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. Here are two examples given: aerated drinks and brass. Okay, so which are said to be homogeneous and heterogeneous. So first of all, we should know the meaning of homogeneous and heterogeneous. Yes, so what is the meaning of homogeneous? So homogeneous are nothing but where the entire constituent, you know, there the solute present in the solvent or the solute present in the solution. So the entire constituent which are mixed evenly, whereas you can see in the heterogeneous mixture which are mixed unevenly. So these are the definition for the homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. Now let us see these aerated drinks and brass. Yes, so brass, you see, brass is one of the homogeneous mixture. Why we are saying this as a homogeneous mixture? Because here the total constituents present in the brass are evenly mixed, whereas in the aerated drink, you see, they are liquid as well as gas. So both are separate from each other. So which are said to be what? Heterogeneous mixture, because here the constituents are unevenly mixed. Okay, so the answer for this question is question number 1 this and question number 2 this. So the answer for this question is aerated drink. Aerated drink is one of the example for heterogeneous, and brass is one of the example for homogeneous. Yes, so let us go for the next question. Let us see the next question. Express the following mathematical operations into scientific notation. Okay, so here two examples are given. First one, if you see 6.6 into 10 to the power of 5 into 7.7 into 10 to the power of 9. And second question, that is 6.6 into 10 to the power of 5 into 7.7 into 10 to the power of minus 7. Okay. So let us see how to solve this problem. So first one, what is given in the question, 6.6 into 10 to the power of 5. Exponents should be placed separately, whereas the decimals are placed separately. Okay. So first let us see 6.6 into 7.7. Okay. So first we have placed two decimal forms, then followed by the exponents. So exponents, what are the exponents are there in this 10 to the power of 5 and 10 to the power of 9. So 10 to the power of 5 plus 10 to the power of 9. So both together we are going to add. Okay. Yes. So simplifying this, what we will get? We will get the answer. Multiplying this both values, we will get 50.82 into adding these two, what we will get? 10 to the power of 14. Okay. 10 to the power of 14. So by this way we can solve this mathematical operation into scientific rotation. Similarly, one more example, it is given 6.6 into 10 to the power of 5 into 7.7 into 10 to the power of minus 7. Okay. So second one, you see 6.6 into, here also what we supposed to do, the decimal forms whatever is there, we are going to place it one place, then followed by the exponents. Exponents we are going to keep it in other side. So 6.6 into 7.7 into, here the decimal forms are placed, then the exponents, what are the exponents are given in this 10 to the power of 5 plus 10 to the power of minus 7. Yes. So this both we are going to add. So that is, what is the meaning of that? Here two digits are the 5 minus 7 is there. Yes. So both we are going to add. So how we are going to add? How we are going to add this both? So first let us see the larger value that is 7. So 7 symbol we are going to use here, that is a meaning. So 7 minus 5, that is 10 to the power of minus 2. So we can write like this, 6.6 into 7.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2. Then this we are going to multiply. So when we are going to multiply this, what we will get? 50.82 into 10 to the power of minus 2. So by this way we can do this mathematical expression into scientific notation. Okay. Let us go for the next question. Now look at that next question, 7.7 into 10 to the power of 9 divided by 6.6 into 10 to the power of 5. So how to convert it into scientific notation? So let us see. First one, 7.7 into 10 to the power of 9 divided by, in the question what is given, 6.6 into 10 to the power of 5. Okay. So how to do this simplification into scientific notation? Yes. First what we supposed to do here? Here again the exponents should be placed separately. Here in this case what we supposed to do, these exponents should be moved towards to the numerator. Okay. So that means what? 7.7 by 6.6 into 10 to the power of 9 minus 5. Yes. So 9 minus 5, that is 10 to the power of 4. So that means 7.7 by 6.6 into 10 to the power of 4. Now this we are going to further simplification, 7.7 by 6.6. Simplifying this we will get 1.16 into 10 to the power of 4. So by this way we can convert the mathematic operation into scientific notation. Let us go for the next question. Similarly, the second question, that is 7.7, second question, divided by 6.6 into, so in this case we have the exponents 10 to the power of minus 7 by 10 to the power of plus 5. Okay. So this 10 to the power of 5, when we are moving to this side, so the symbol could be changing. That is the reason we are going to write 7.7 by 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 7 minus 5. We are going to simplify now. So simplifying this we will get 1.16 into here. So both the values you see, both the values are, we are going to add. So that means here the larger number is minus 7. So the symbol will come like 10 to the power of minus 12, adding this both value. So by this way we can solve this problem. Yes. Let us go for the next question. Look at that next question. Express the following mathematical operation into scientific notation. So here 7.7 into 10 to the power of 4 plus 0.77 into 10 to the power of 5. So let us add this both value. How to add this? Okay. So first question. So what is given in the question? 7.7 into 10 to the power of 4. This we are going to add with 7.7 into 10 to the power of 4. Okay. So now we are going to simplify this. So both the side 10 to the power of 4 is there. So make it as common 10 to the power of 4. So this both we are going to now adding. Okay. That is the meaning. That is 15.4 into 10 to the power of 4. So by this way we can solve this problem. Similarly, the second question. The second question, if you see 8.7 into 10 to the power of 4 minus 7.7 into 10 to the power of 4. This is the question. Okay. So now let us see how to solve this. Here also these both are common. Yes, the exponent. So make it as common 10 to the power of 4 into here this we are going to subtract. So 8.7 minus 7.7, that is nothing but 1. So 1 into 10 to the power of 4. So by this way we can solve this problem. Let us go for the next question. Yes, 3.368 plus 2.02. So both we are going to add. So adding this, what we will get? 5.368. 5.388. 6 plus 2, 8. Okay. So this is the value. 5.388. So this is the value. Now you see the sum is rounded off to 2 decimal places. Therefore the sum is 2 decimal place when we are making to this as, okay. So that is 5.39. See this, it is going to be the nearest number 8 to the 9. No, that is so 5.39. So by this way we can solve this problem. Okay. So let us go for the next question. Now look at this next question. That is the mass of a wooden block or wooden plank. Okay. So which is 6.932 gram. If density of the wood is 7.7 gram per centimeter cube, what is its volume? So we are going to find the volume. Okay. Express the result in the appropriate significant figures. When we are getting the result should be written in the form of a appropriate significant figures. Okay. So in this question what we are going to find? Volume we are going to find. Yes. So volume is equal to, we have the formula mass by density. Mass by density. We know already the formula for density. Density is equal to mass by volume. So volume is equal to mass by density. Okay. So mass, what is given, which is given in the question, 6.932 gram. Okay. 6.932 gram divided by density, which is given in the question, 7.7 gram per centimeter cube. Yes. Yes, gram and gram should be cancelled. So simplifying this, what we will get? We will get around 0.900 some values we will get. Okay. So that should be written as centimeter cube. As they asked in the question, we are going to give the answer in an appropriate significant figure. That is the reason we should write the answer as 0.90 centimeter cube. So in this way we can write the significant figures. Yes, understood. So by this way we can solve this problem. Let us go for the next question. Now look at this next question. 10 gram of calcium carbonate which is heating having 4.4 gram of CO2 carbon dioxide and X gram of CaO calcium oxide, applying law of conservation of mass, calculate the mass of calcium oxide. Okay. So according to the law, so this is the law based on the law of conservation of mass. So mass of the reactant which is equal to mass of the product. So based on this law, first what we supposed to know, in a chemical reaction the reactant which is always equal to the product, or the product which is always equal to the reactant. We should know about that. Okay. So in the equation, if you see CaCO3 which is converting into CO2 and CaO. Yes, so this is a chemical reaction CaCO3 calcium carbonate, which is going to convert it into CaO plus CO2. Okay, so this is going to be converting into CaO and CO2, calcium oxide, carbon dioxide. Okay, so balancing the equation, you see calcium, which is 1 here, here also 1, and carbon, yes, here 1, here also 1, and oxygen here 2 plus 1 3, so total 3. So this is reactant and these are the product, two products are there. So reactant is equal to the product. Okay, so this is obeying for the law of conservation of mass. Therefore calcium carbonate, which is given in the question, 10 gram. Yes, and the other one, what is that? Carbon dioxide value, which is given 4.4 gram. Yes, carbon dioxide value we know 4.4 gram. Yes, so reactant is 10 gram and product is 4.4 gram plus we don't know about this value x. Yes, okay, so 10 minus 4.4 gram, what we will get? 5.6 gram. So that is what the mass of calcium oxide. Therefore 5.6 plus 4.4 together is 10 gram, which is the product that is equal to the reactant 10 gram. So based on this, the law of conservation of mass, which is obeying. Okay, so by this way we can solve this problem. Let us go for the next question. Okay, so now look at this next question. Copper oxide, which was prepared by two different methods. In one case 1.75 gram of the metal, which gives 2.19 gram of oxide. Okay, in the second case 1.14 gram of the metal, which gives 1.43 gram of the oxide, shows that the given data which illustrate the law of constant proportion. See how far it is obeying for law of constant proportion. Okay, in first case, what is the mass of copper? Let us write for this question. First case, so in first case, the percentage of copper in the oxide. Okay, I mean the mass of the copper first let us write, then mass of the copper oxide will write. So mass of the oxide, mass of the copper, then we are going to write the mass of the copper oxide, mass of copper oxide. Mass of the copper, that is given in the question, 1.75 gram, 1.75 gram. Mass of the copper oxide, yes, that is given in the question, 2.19 gram. Okay, now percentage of the copper in the oxide. Let us see percentage of copper in the oxide, percentage of the copper in the oxide. Percentage we are going to find. We know the formula for percentage, yes, mass of the solid by mass of the solution into 100. Here we are going to consider for mass of the copper by mass of the entire constituent copper oxide into 100. Okay, so the formula mass of copper by mass of copper oxide into 100. Okay, so mass of the copper we know that is 1.75 gram by mass of the copper oxide we know that 2.19 gram into 100. Applying this we will get around 79.9%. This is what the percentage of the copper present in the oxide. 79.9% is the percentage of the copper in the oxide. Similarly, percentage of oxygen we are going to take. Okay, percentage of oxygen. Okay, percentage of oxygen, how we come to know percentage of oxygen, how to do? Very simple. What value we have got? 79.9%. Yes, so this is what actually the copper present in the copper oxide. Then out of the 100% minus 79.9%, the rest of them are said to be oxygen. Okay, so 100 minus 79.9%, that gives what? The rest of the component. The rest of the component is oxygen. Okay, so that is nothing but 20.1%. so 20.1% are said to be oxygen, mass of oxygen. Okay, similarly in the second case, okay, in the second case also, simplifying that, we would get the percentage mass of the copper. Similarly, we are going to write the mass of the copper, then mass of the copper oxide, percentage of copper present in the oxide, similarly percentage of oxygen present, contents left over. Okay, so simplifying that, we will get around 20.3%. so in first case, what we have got the value, that is 21.1%. yes, the second one, what we have got the value, 20.3%. okay, yes, so far we have discussed about few exemplar practice questions from some basic concept. This will be continued further in the next video. Thank you guys.